We've got presents. Let's have a look, see what we've got in here. There we go. Shrinker and stretcher. Let's have a quick look at these bad boys. Look at that, there we go. Hopefully these things are going to be the key to making the tubs in that thing. So I'll get these unpacked, put them in the vise, and we'll have a nosy, see what's going on. So we are now in 2023 and we are now going to have a go at using this. So this is a Cat's Force. There's the code for it. This was off of Amazon, low cost quality. I think it's about, what, maybe £130 I think. So shout out to all the wives and girlfriends that have been buying your car stuff for Christmas, because my missus ended up buying this for me. So if we have a quick look, see what goes on with this. So you put your metal in the jaws there, and then as you push down, it squeezes. It basically pinches down on your piece, but then as it pinches down, it squeezes in as well, so it shrinks your metal. So that's that one. And then if we go around over here, and then this is the stretcher one. So again, you push down on the lever, but as you push down, it splays the metal out, thus stretching it. So the idea is, in getting these, is so that I can make this flange on my bit of metal, so it's like sitting up to suit that, and then form the arc in the metal to make my my wheel tubs. My initial thought was that I'd put this lip up this way and then have a return lip downwards, but I don't think I can stretch this side and then shrink this side. I'm just going to make this piece, and then this piece will come up and have a return, so it basically butts in underneath. You'll see what I mean when I actually get going with it. So that is the plan for this video. Hopefully it will all come out well, and hopefully I won't end up with too many bits of scrap metal, but we shall see. Let's get cutting. Okay, just had a little play, just with a little scrap piece, just to get an idea of how this works. But as you can see, it grips hold of the metal and it basically squeezes it all together to give you that sort of radius bit there. So I went a bit OTT with this one, split it, so I need to be a bit more ginger with it when I actually come to making my piece for the car. But that is next on the agenda. Let's get cutting some metal up, or measure some metal up, cut some metal up, and have a go. Little lip formed. So Now we need to go into the stretcher, stretch all this metal out, and then it will start forming this into an arc, hopefully. Right, so the other thing I need to do is I'm going to mark this little flange in sort of inch increments, just so I can sort of keep track of what I'm doing, because then if I need to bend or stretch this side as well, then I'll know what I've done on there and if I need to relay it over to this side. And look at that. That is just literally about, what, 5 or 6 pulls, and it's already created that. So you definitely have to go steady with this thing. Look at that, that is one pass. That's crazy how quick that's formed that. There we go, this is just from that one pass. That is not far off already being where it needs to be on one pass. So we'll chuck it back through again. That's a pass and a bit, and so far we're not far off in the slightest. So I need to do a bit more bending from about here, a bit more stretching, sorry, and hopefully that'll draw that end down, and we're not far off having this piece done. So that's the state of that after you shrink and stretch it. Admittedly, I did go over this side a little bit too much, so I have had to shrink that back a tiny bit just to make it suit the curve of the wheel arch on the car. So yeah, got my mark on there now. Take it back over there, do a bit more stretching on this side. But I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to do a couple of bits and then I'll bring it back over and test fit it, because apparently it's really easy to overcook it when doing this. So back on the tripod. Here we go, we've got one piece done. This is really hard trying to film something like this because I'm back and forth like a yo-yo. It would take me forever if I wanted to move the camera every time. So we've stretched it, and we've had to shrink some of it as well, just where I've sort of overstretched it in places. But underneath there it's all pretty much uniform. That's just a bit of what's it, undersill hanging off down there, so it follows the curvature pretty much spot on really. So underneath here all the way down there, so that's that one. So I did leave this one a little bit longer than I needed to, but now I think what I'll do is I'll probably have to go for the buck technique again. So I'll cut that shape out in a bit of MDF, roll the end of it, and then hammer form that piece over the MDF. And then I'll probably put in a couple of, oh, I don't know, maybe like a couple of little bead roll bits in there just to give it some added strength. But yeah, it's looking pretty good though. Pretty chuffed with that. It's definitely a workout using these things. First time I've just been in a t-shirt for months. So, this is the one that's concerning me though, because it's got multiple bits to sort of bend around here. Obviously you need to bend up over there, and then as you come down here it bends down, back up and around. So, don't don't quite know what I'm going to do about that. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare, that one. So what I might do is finish this one first completely and then tackle that one another day. We'll see. If you haven't got any of these things and you're doing panel work on a car, you absolutely should get some. They're properly good. Called Clecos. So you just drill a hole in your panel, pop that through, release it, and it pinches the panel together. Brilliant little invention. Right, we're back. So, last time my battery ran out and I thought I was charging the battery, but I wasn't because I hadn't actually flicked the bloody switch on. So, bit of an update on this thing. Wheels are off. And what we've done in here is turn the light on so you can actually see. There's one arch, mostly done. Just need to do all the inside piece here. And then we've got that one done as well. Now I had Darren down here helping me with this because it turns out shrinking and stretching is not that easy to do. It's actually quite labour intensive. I need to do a bit more shrinking here to lift that up and maybe a couple more stretches here just to follow that round. So I'll get onto that in a minute, but in the meantime, that little box down there, that's a new stand for my TIG welder, so I need to build that. Oi, oi. Dino!
Bloody YouTube thing.
Yeah. And we got a rotisserie. Right, let's get cracking on this. Right, so it's a new day and it's actually surprisingly hard trying to film me doing this because I'm back and forth like an absolute madman on the shrinker stretcher and all that malarkey, so I kind of just cracked on and got it done. So if I'll give you a quick walk round of what I've done. So that is all nice and uniform all the way around there, like an idiot. I stretched that bit too much and split it, but I'll weld that back together. So yeah, all nice and uniform all around there. Probably can't really see up there, but it follows the curvature really nicely all around there. And then same again on this side, follows the curvature really nice all the way around. So the plan is now to make the piece that's going to be going between here and here. I'm going to have this sitting down to about here, and then up on this end I'm going to have it sort of kicked over, so I've got a flange and then like a spot weld all round, yada yada yada. So make a template and get on with that. Right, here we go. Metal cut out, that's the bend line. Cut a bit out of MDF, and then it'll be the same sort of deal as last time really. Fold the edge over there, then we should have our bit of inner tub ready to rock and roll. Right, this is where we're at. Mark out for bead rolling, do some bead rolling before I actually fold this edge. Just need to mark out this side. And then we'll not get Darren to bead roll it. What do you reckon? Alright, there's one panel done. Managed to fuck things up a little bit, but it'll do. Put it on the buck. Right, that's the first panel in. Quite a nice fit on there. Obviously it's not perfect because I'm not a metal fabricator, but it's as near as damn it, so I'm happy with that. So it all follows the contours down there. And there we go. So now I need to somehow try and make that one. I'm not entirely sure how to go about this, if I'm completely honest with you. So I'll put that up there. So I need to somehow try and come round here, round here. There's a little bend here, and I need to do all of that with a flange up on the top to go underneath this piece. So this could probably get quite emotional quite quickly. But we'll see. Play it by ear, see what happens. one buck. That's all sorted out. I just need to go around the edges with the sander. But before I do that, I need to mark out for the bead roller and do my beads. Obviously it's a bit of a funny shape, this one, so I think I'm just going to do 2 little triangle type doodads in here. I need to bead roll that before I can fold the edge, because if I fold the edge first then it don't fit in the bead roller. So I shall crack on with that, sand that down, and hopefully get this little piece sorted in the next hour or so. That's what we're working with on this one. Glare on there. So they won't match the other sides, obviously, because this is a completely different shape to the other side anyway, but I mean, I don't think that looks too bad. But I'll bead roll it, see what it looks like. If it looks absolutely pants in the car, and then I might just redo it and see what else I can come up with. Right, let's get to bead rolling. Right, bead rolling's all done. Starting to get better at following the lines on this, I think. But yeah, obviously it twists the panel a little bit out of shape when you bead roll it, because you're basically stretching all that material there. From what I've seen online, in an ideal world you need to run round on your line with an English wheel just to pre-stretch all of that on the other side, and then you go back round it on the opposite side to then push it back through, and that's how you keep your panel nice and flat and straight. But I'm just going to whack this on the buck. Actually, I'm going to sand the buck down, bolt this to it, and then we'll start tipping this edge over. I might preemptively shrink a little bit of material around here, maybe stretch a little bit of material around here, but we shall see. So this is where the shrinker comes into its own. So obviously I'm trying to shrink all this here and it's just making that horrible thing there. So I'll have to do a couple of shrinks just round here just to sort of pull that in, and then we should lose that. This bit's fine because that's just stretching, so we can stretch that over the buck, and I think we might get away with that because that'll be stretching as well. So let's go and shrink this bit of metal quick and get back to hitting it with a hammer. This is the reason why it's taken me so long to get this video out. It's no easy feat doing this, I tell you now. Let's see, and then just like magic, shrunk all that down. We haven't got any of those creases now. So now we've got to bolt this back on the buck, smack it about a few more times, and probably have to unbolt it and do the whole process over again. So like I said, I'm going to have to go over this and shrink it again because there's obviously nowhere for the metal to go currently. So squeeze all that together, give that a little stretch here, probably give that bit there a little stretch as well, and hopefully that should be it, and we can finish off hammer forming it and it'll be ready. Absolutely beating the snot out of this thing. I have to go around and hammer and dolly it just to iron out all these little imperfections. But there we go again, so I'm going to have to go back round and shrink these back down just on the edge. We're pretty much there for that side of things now. It's just stretching this little divot bit in here and trying to get all these lumps and bumps out. Alright, so again, done some more shrinking around there, pulled all the little crease bits out, so I just need to go around and basically get that bit of metal to sit flush on the MDF, and then we should be golden. Right, initial test fit. Let's get a light on. There we go. Still need to close up the gaps a bit there, but I would say that isn't too bad at all, really. I just need to figure out how I'm going to make this bit now. Still not quite sure how to go about that, but nevertheless I will tackle that next time I'm down here. That bit's turned out pretty well. I had to go a bit radio rental on it just to make it take its shape, but it come out alright in the end. So until next time. Oh, it's a new day. It's a little over freezing in the workshop at the moment, so it's a bit brisk. Next up, we've got to make a bit that goes in round this bend, round that bend, and then we need to do that bend up there, and also obviously leave a lip on it so we can spot weld it. Same again, leave a lip on here. So this one's going to be a bit tricky, I have to admit. Don't quite know where to start with this one, truth be told. So this might be a couple of failed attempts yet. We shall find out. I'm going to cut some metal, get that bit done first and foremost, and then we'll work on getting that bit and all the rest of it. Let's go. Right, so just using a bit of scrap, I've sort of made the basic shape of the lower part at least. So I just need to now measure out a bit of metal. This obviously ever so slightly longer than that. And what I might do is, I haven't decided 100% yet, but I might take this piece over to here, which will then give me a bit of scope for perhaps doing another bit of a bead roll in here. But I don't know if that would just look odd, to be honest. So obviously them ones are sort of symmetrical, and just doing another little funny one on the end here might just look a bit weird. Shall ponder over that. So let's cut some metal out, try and get the rough shape, and hopefully bend something up that will fit and work first time. Right, that's my profile for the very end bend in the wheel tub over there. So I need to cut that out, and then I need to fold from this line back. But obviously I need to make a buck for that again. So I'll cut this off, make sure that radius is right, and then I'll make a buck, tip that end over, and then we can make a start on forming this back up this way and then back that way to suit what's in the car. So let's crack on with that. Bit of messing about, but we now hopefully have the right shape for our panel. So need to cut it out at MDF, usual story. Make a buck, fold the lip over, and then hopefully try and form the sort of weird curvatures and whatnot in it, and fingers crossed it'll fit. Right, need to go back on the shrinker again, because obviously trying to shrink this down, it's not quite having it. So shrink this, lose that kink out of it, do a couple more shrinks over around this area as well, maybe a little bit down here preemptively, a little bit there as well, and then hopefully, well, I'll probably have to do it, tap it down a bit more and then go back and shrink it again, but we'll see. There we go, that's all shrunk down now, lost that crease out of there, so pop it back in the buck and carry on hammer forming. Right, I don't know how much of that I want to show in the video, but that took a lot of beating. Just been around it with the hammer and dolly just a little bit, just to try and smooth some bits out. But when it's all sort of done and finalised, I'll most likely go around it again and just try and make it a little bit better. Right, so now I need to basically make that bend there. So I've got my bit of metal here that I've already sort of pre-shaped. So I need to basically make that curve in this piece of metal here. So I need to do a lot of stretching to form that around there, and then try and stand that up. And then when we get to that bit, there's no way I'm going to be able to shrink that enough to form that tight little bend there. So what I'll probably have to do is cut a V in here somewhere and basically just sort of fold that over really. But yeah, let's go and get busy with the stretcher. Oh, some reference lines just so I know where I'm going with this. So you'll see it needs to start bending there, and then it really starts bending up here. So let's get cracking with this. a few stretches on there. It's not far off taking that shape already, so I think what I need to do is stretch a bit more here and then probably a bit more there. So let's get on with that. But it's not too shabby, man. So it's not a million miles away, that bit, so I need to cut that V out of there, and then that way I can peel this bit back this way. I have to admit, I'm pretty stoked with that. It's hard to actually hold it up and get it on camera, really. So that wants to go more or less like that. I just need to do a little bit more stretching. So I just need to stretch it a little bit more here just to follow that curve round. And when I do that, I'll then have to bend that bit a little bit more. But I mean, for a first attempt, can't really, it's hard whilst I'm holding it up to actually see it, but you can see the gap there. So it just basically wants another little stretch just to the left of that line, just to draw that round into that corner. It's now 11 o'clock in the evening, so I'm going to call it a night for tonight, and I'll sort this out next time. Right, here we have it. We've got it all stuck in place. The only bit I did mess up on was just that corner there, so I'll probably just infill that with something when I come to weld it all. So for now, I'm going to take all this off, drill my spot weld holes all the way around, clean up all the underseal and seam sealer and all that nonsense, and then we'll weld both of these into the car, and then we can move on to something else finally. But I'm not going to show you all of that because no one wants to see me get a load of seam sealer off of this, so I'll pick you back up when I'm ready to weld it. Don't know how I never knew about these. This is called a joggler. So it's got a hole punch in that side. You turn it around that way and it makes like a step joint, so you can overlap your sheet metal. But what an absolutely brilliant tool this is. Pop that on there, get your bit of metal, bosh. There you go, and you've got all your spot weld holes. Well, it's that time. I've spent pretty much all of last night and for the most part of this evening cleaning up all inside here. So all of this on the Audi is now back to bare metal. I've just painted it with some weld-free primer. All up inside the Escort wheel arch, like back to sort of here, is now bare metal with a bit of weld-free primer. So obviously I'll put weld-free primer on the back of these panels where they meet up with the Audi. So all I need to do now is fill all these holes with some welding wire, and they will be at one with the car. Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is in. Now, I'm certainly not the best welder in the world, but I've got a grinder and I'm willing to use it. So I'm going to clean up all these welds, make it look all pretty, and that'll be that. I just need to fill in this little gap here and then plug up all these holes that I used for the jig. But it is now, it's now 12:15 and I'm bloody knackered. I need to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to bid you farewell and I'm going to pick this up and do that side tomorrow at some point, hopefully. I'll see you then. Like deja vu this is. So this is the passenger side. Audi's back to bare metal all the way around, yada yada yada. All the Escort inner wheel arch is all back to bare metal where I need it to be. So I just need to spray some weld through primer on that and these. Spray up around this lip here, spray it all down here where this meets the Audi, spray all up inside that lip, and then spray all round inside that bit there as well. Job's good. When I got myself a can of this U-Pole weld through primer, apparently this is the stuff to use. Was using this stuff, like cheap nasty stuff off Amazon, as you do, but for whatever reason it kept causing me problems whilst trying to weld it. So give it a shake, spray it up, wait for it to dry, weld her in. Probably ought to be wearing a mask for this really, but I'll get on for next time. Number 2 is done. It's amazing what a difference it makes when you've actually got your welder on the right settings. This one's come out so much better than the abortion I made of that side the other day. So I'm going to grind this back, tighten it up a little bit, grind back the other side, tighten that up a little bit, get it in some etch primer. Alright ladies and gents, it is now 12 o'clock and we are done. Bosh, 2 inner rear tubs sorted. I don't think they've come out too sorry myself. I mean, I didn't really have to go welding all of this seam or all the way around that seam, but I figured why not, it's extra strength. I do need to tidy up a few more bits on this one where I was having some issues with the welder the other night. It sort of blew some bits away, so I just need to go back and sort of tidy them up. Then I need to fill some holes around there from where I had the buck. But other than that, we're pretty much there. I mean, the whole thing is completely solid now. I have been standing in the back of this for the most part this evening, grinding away all that snot and whatnot. But yeah, happy with that. I don't think that's too bad considering I've never done that before, and I've got no scrap pieces at all. Bargain. So these are obviously the main part of what helped me with that. Shrinker and stretcher. I'll put a link to these in the description, and what I'll do is I'll put a link to all this other stuff that I use in the description as well. So if you've got a spare few quid and you want to get going on a project, go and buy some tools, man. Get going with it. So in other news, what I've also managed to score was an Evo 5, I think it's called a Yaris front bumper. I do need to cut it about a little bit because, as you can see, it's absolutely nowhere near fitting a Mark 5 Escort, but cut all that up. And the main reasoning behind this is because it's got such a sort of swoop out on the front. It should hopefully give me the room I need for a decent sized radiator and intercooler in the front there. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, it needs cutting up a whole lot. So, but we're miles away from that. Absolutely miles away from thinking about bodywork just yet. So yeah. I think that's a wrap for this one. Nice one if you've made it through to the end. I know it's been a bit of a slog this one, but we got there in the end. Took me a little while to get this video sorted out because I've been a bit lazy since Christmas. We all know how it is. So yeah, but if any of you guys are doing a project similar to this, leave a link to your channel in the description because I'd like to check it out. I like to watch other people's projects just so I can sort of see how other people do all this sort of stuff, really. Sort of pick up little tips and tricks and whatnot, see how you get on with yours. So yeah, leave a link to your channel in the description and in the comment section even below, and I'll check it out. But with that being said, I'm gonna bugger off, go home and have a shower. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you next time when I'm not looking so much like a tramp. Peace.